Hey there everyone, and welcome to another 12:30 Facebook Live here at Arizona Science Center. My name is Maverick, and Camp Innovation has taken over all of our Facebook Lives here this summer, and today is actually our final day of virtual camp. And today with virtual camp, as in all week, we have been going over amusement parks and the science behind amusement parks, how the different attractions and rides and everything work. And today, we talked about a couple cool different things. We talked about Ferris wheels, and we talked about certain objects that use a really interesting force and effect called angular momentum. And we're actually going to be practicing making some of those right here today on our Facebook Live. And to dive a little bit deeper into it, we are going to be making these things called super spinners, which some of you might have heard of them as like tops, right? Like a spinning top. And these use a concept called angular momentum, right? When you spin this, it creates this force that's spinning in a circle, in an angle. And the way a top will stay upright is if the angular momentum on the outside of that, as that's forcing it around, as it rotates around this vertical axis right here in the middle, this part that we grip, if that angular momentum is fast enough all the way around, it's going to keep that top upright. As it spins, as friction acts upon it, it starts slowing down. If it's not centered or whatever it is, that's when you start getting that little bit of a wobble until eventually it falls over. Now, different shapes, different weights, all kinds of different factors go into being able to create the most angular momentum. So what we're going to do is we're going to create different tops, different super spinners today. Try out some different shapes, try out different weights, and see what is most effective. And at home, I want you guys, even if I don't get to it today, I want you to practice at home. I want you to make some different shaped spinners, right? Different shapes, different sizes, all kinds of different stuff. And it's really, really simple, and we're going to walk through it right now. So what you're going to need is like a big piece of cardboard, or if you don't have cardboard, you can take like construction paper, or some type of a relatively harder paper, construction paper, cardstock, something like that. You're going to need a little bit of tape. You're going to need, what I'm going to use today is these thumbtacks, right? These push pins. You can use things like a pencil, something with kind of a point at the end, or if you don't have something with a point at the end, you can try something without a point at the end and see how it spins, right? That's the fun of science. You get to experiment. You get to see what happens. A little bit of tape is always good, some scissors, and then I've got these weights here. You don't necessarily need them, but we're going to try them with our experiment. So I've got these little kind of beads right here, these little non-calo beads, but any type of weights or washers or anything will work. And the first thing you're going to want to do, the first thing I always like to do is try out a circle, right? Most tops and most spinners that you've seen are in the shape of a circle because that ideally will create the best angular momentum for our top. So I take this tape, I take a roll of tape, and I like to put it on here, and then just trace the inside of it so that I know that I have a circle, right? And then I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut that circle out. So you get to watch me use these scissors that are way too small for my big hands and hopefully cut out a relatively normal shaped circle. So we're going to see how this works. But you want to cut that shape out. And like I said, whatever shape you want to try. Today we're going to try, at least I am going to try, a circle and a kind of a square. But I've seen people do triangles, octagons, hexagons, all kinds of different shapes. You can just make something that isn't even symmetrical, some type of weird blob. You can try anything out. And that's the fun part about doing experiments and doing science, right? You can try different things. You can create a hypothesis and test it, right? That's what science is. It's just constantly testing different guesses and seeing if they work. And if they work, then you can test them again. And if they keep working, then eventually you have something that is scientific facts, right? So almost here. Like I said, these scissors are a little small, and I have really big hands, and they're not really the best at cutting cardboard. But now that we're done with that, we have our circle. The next step you're going to want to do is you're going to take your thumbtack, your push pin, whatever you like to call it. You're going to try to get this about as centered as possible. You're literally just going to poke it right through there. Now, just right there is honestly decent. You can spin it, and it should spin ideally. But what I like to do is sometimes after you've spun it a couple times, the opening gets a little wider, so then when you spin it, sometimes the tack spins and this doesn't spin as well, so you don't get as much power behind it. So
I like to take some tape and just kind of tape my push pin to the piece of cardboard so it holds it in place a little better, so that when I spin it, it doesn't fly off. So then you spin it, and this one actually works really well, right? We've got a pretty good spin on that. Now I'm not going to cut out another shape. I already have another one cut out, but we're going to try it with this square. And same exact thing, cut out a square, put the push pin through, tape the there. So it's the same exact process, but we're going to try with the square and see how it spins. And we're going to count this out as we spin it. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got about 3.5, 4 seconds of spinning right there. Now one thing I've noticed with this, I'm going to try it again. It's been a little more difficult for me to get it to sit completely still when I spin it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're getting about there. I'm going to take about the same amount of energy and put it into this, and we're going to see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what we notice, I'll try it again. I don't even want to count this one. This one's spinning really good. We can already see that it's spinning a lot better than that square one, right? That's because of those angles, right? As this is spinning, something that's spinning, if you see something that's spinning, it's normally moving in a circle. That's typically what that means, right? So something that is the shape of a circle is going to create more angular momentum. Having these sharp edges right here doesn't do a good job of creating consistent momentum there. You get a lot of momentum here, and then it tapers off, and then it goes down here, and tapers off, and it's not consistent, which is why this wobbles over and falls over so quickly. Now, another thing that you can do if you want to test out some other aspects of this is you can add weights to it, and you can try all kinds of different stuff. So I'm just going to add a weight to each end of it. I'm going to put them in even spots. So you're going to literally just take your weight, and you can just tape it on wherever you want it. And, you know, me and my large fingers, again, are giving me problems because it's a struggle. But we're going to take one there, and we're going to take one on the other side directly across from it, and we're going to see if this affects anything. So it kind of flopped over, it was like, whoop, and then that one just completely flew off because I didn't have it taped down strong enough, right? So you're going to notice that putting different weights in different places, or different amounts of weights, or however you want to do it, is going to affect how your spinner spins. And you can find perfect places to make it better. You can make bigger ones. So I traced out the bottom of a big 2 liter or like a 2 liter vinegar bottle to make this circle. So I made a bigger circle, and I used a pencil instead of the tack. And it spins a little bit. It's all about getting it in the right spot. But like I said, you can experiment with this. And you guys, I want you to go and experiment at home. Try out all kinds of different shapes and all kinds of different stuff like I've been talking about. But while you're experimenting at home, make sure that you are remembering to wash those hands. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. If you're going out in public or anything like that, please remember to wear a mask. Keep yourself safe. Keep everybody safe. We want to make sure that we're all having fun and learning and doing all kinds of things together. But it takes a community to do that, and we all want to work together to do all of this. If you want to look for more awesome content that we're providing, go ahead and check us out at azscience.org. We got all kinds of cool stuff planned for you. More Facebook Lives, more virtual content, all kinds of awesome stuff. But this is the last day of our camp takeover of the Facebook Live. So thank you so much for joining us all summer. We hope you continue joining us for all of our other future content here. I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Have an awesome rest of your day and the rest of your weekend, guys. And we'll see you next time. Bye, everybody. Bye, guys.